yo, it's your boy Young Really the G.
Smoke Champs Boo.
Deuce don't give a fuck.
It's your boy Ching Bing.
And we got a special guest in the building today. 1/5 of the Exonerated 5. This our boy, New York's own Raymond Santana.
Smoke Champs 5, baby.
Smoke Champs 5.
Smoke Champs 5. Let's talk about it, Ray.
Let's
Talk about it.
Let's get right into it, man. Let's start off on how the family knows you. Because I know how I know you. You feel me? I'm a young guy coming up. Like, you know, your story was very big. It was public, you know, all over. But the family know you from somewhere else.
Yeah.
So let's start off with that.
I mean, me and Bing, you know me, I watched Bing come through the system. And we was in, what, 2 facilities together, right? Yeah.
What year is this?
This is 90.
90.
Yeah,
I watched Bing come through in 90.
I was born in 90.
And we was in Spofford then, and then we was in Goshen after that.
Okay, so Spofford is this
Also,
where...
Deuce was there in Goshen too.
Deuce, okay, so
Spofford.
we're going to start at Spofford first.
In the Bronx.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Spofford
That's
in
where
the
I
Bronx.
met Bing at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ain't it Spofford Boulevard or something?
Spofford
Avenue?
Spofford.
Yeah.
That shit
Spofford
is
Ave.
gone now.
Yeah.
Well,
I've been to Spofford before.
Spofford was Baby Rikers Island.
Yeah.
So you
I've
understand.
been to Spofford,
Yeah.
my
Okay,
nigga.
all
I've
right.
been know what Spofford is.
Yeah, but not, you went to Spofford late, though, y'all.
All right,
to
whatever.
Horizon.
Nigga, no. Horizon and Crossroads was tough too.
Listen, I'm telling you when
Yeah.
I was in Spofford, nigga. I was in Spofford. I popped up there 89, then I popped up in 90.
Yeah.
And it was from
I was
90,
born in 90.
Well,
You-
listen, from
you older
90
than
to
me.
92, I was running around Spofford, listen,
Yeah.
with wild niggas like Mac Moten,
Yeah.
the Young Yallahs,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
CO,
My man Stir,
John Bond. Yeah,
just
Stir.
so crime,
Crime. K9, rest in peace to
K9,
K9.
rest in peace.
Hutch.
Yeah, Hutch.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nori-
Kim Yarborough.
was there.
Nori was there.
Nori,
Yeah.
Capone,
Capone.
Kilo. It's legendary. The list goes on and
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So at this time where y'all met in 90, this is where you got arrested for the crime?
Yeah, I was there in 89. I got there in 89. I was already there.
Before me.
So you already got, so
Yeah.
you actually got arrested in 89 for the
April
sexual
89.
assault.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
he seen me come through.
Yeah, I watched it.
And you came in at
And I
90.
came through at 90.
Okay.
And he seen me come through.
Yeah,
And when you came in?
Yeah.
91.
91. And when Nori came through?
Nori came through 92. Nori
Okay.
came through like 92.
Okay.
92, like the end of the 92. Nori came
All right, so what was your first take on when you heard the case? And when you heard that you was locked up with one of them?
Listen, right?
How did you feel?
I'm gonna keep it 100
Yeah.
with you, right?
Super honored.
Nah, super. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was 14 coming that when I came through. I was 14. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. The brother was a little older than me at that time. I was on my own time. Mind you, I'm 14. I really don't know what's going on with that time. I'm just being honest with you. Just keep it at 100. I got jammed up in the Yala, the Hang Shangri, Hang Bangada. Boom. I come through, it's 90, it's a year later, mind you. So the Yala was a Yala already in the Yala.
Talk clear, we on the podcast. We
I know.
can't speak our lingo. Talk clear.
I know, but still, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? It's law. But anyway, right? So, I get to meet Ray.
Yeah.
Ray's not a regular Ray.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's be clear. Santana, they like, yo, that's the shit.
Yeah.
Y'all got
Well, at that time, they had the most high profile
case.
Yeah.
For us, we was kids.
Yeah.
So niggas had shootings. I had a body.
Yeah.
But this
Yeah.
shit was so Trump was talking about.
We gonna
this
get
nigga.
into that. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So they was like kind of rock stars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So check it out, right? So I come through, and I got cool with Ray, whatever. So I come to court. I go to court with Ray. Ray got the dude that do the property, the dude that do the property for court.
Yeah.
Because you get your property smash.
So
he's like, yo, he's with us. I don't know where they know him from. I don't know their relationship. He was there before me.
Yeah.
So I peeped the aura. So he's like, yo, anything you want, just tell her put it in a sneaker, put it a little whatever you want. Don't go crazy. Get your shit. So this is how niggas getting their kicks, they clothes, they little extra little shirt shit that's a little different. It's coming through there. Nigga, you get it from court, you just stash it, then you wear what you wear to court, you come back and you gotta transform.
Yeah.
So I did the Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
I started getting the Yalla. I started getting the
Yeah.
Gumbo.
Yeah.
At that time, it was Gumbo.
Yeah.
Ask him.
Yeah.
So I figured it out. I'm like, yo, I get the Yalla. The
Yeah.
Yalla comes to me in my cell.
Yeah.
You get dressed. Your bag is right there. You get dressed. You walk out. You fresh to death.
Yeah.
It was so crazy. You don't understand. I used to open up my jeans. My shit was full of bags. I had the bag all in my. I was lit.
Yeah.
They didn't know I was super lit, and on the strength of him because of the nigga. That's how I got
Cool with the
our
dude.
relationship was ill.
Yeah.
And then when I got up to Goshen, like Goshen was like one of the top. Goshen was not a regular shit. Like all those shits was wild. Listen to me.
Yeah.
Niggas getting stabbed, shot. Not shot, but stabbed. It was real, like some real shit.
Yeah.
I'm not fronting. I'm telling you some real shit.
Yeah.
Bro.
It was
Shit was
niggas-
going on.
We was young
Yeah.
when we got there.
Yeah.
These niggas did 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
that.
at 21.
Like
Like
got
Brolic.
full goatee
Like
shit.
Brolic.
They
like
leave at
niggas.
21.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
some niggas.
Some of
Yeah.
them.
Some of them.
Some
I
niggas
left
had their
at
niggas
18.
caught
They
up.
kicked
Yeah.
me out at 18. Just
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to 18. I went to Kaksaki.
Yeah.
When I went to Kaksaki, I was like, oh shit. It was like Kaksaki 94. Think about it. Kaksaki 94. I was with Kev Webb. The other Yalla. I was with Kev Webb. Kaksaki had all the Yalla killers, all the shooters that was in Rikers Island in 90, 91, 92 were there.
100%.
I'm just being honest with you.
100% true. Yeah.
And the Yalla was good. And I had the bag. And I'm telling you, I was on the lineup.
Yeah.
And Kev Webb was with us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So
And I had Mac. I'm gonna keep it 100.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna see fool Yalla. Mac Moen had us. I ain't gonna. Mac Moen was the Yalla for the Yallas, like for us coming from DFY.
Mac
Yeah.
is a legend.
Like,
Mac is a legend.
Mac was the first one that I seen cut. I seen him cut somebody. I'm telling you straight up.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
They violated one of the Yallas one
Yeah.
time. All the Yallas come downstairs from Juma. They all come down deep. They knocked on the gate on the door. I'm like, oh shit, what up?
Yeah.
He said, yo, it's going down. I'm like, what you mean? He said, we going in. As soon as the police opened up the cell, they tore everybody up in there. I'm talking about everybody's running wild. They can't go nowhere. The doors was closed. It was just a little day room. You can't go nowhere.
Yeah.
And he did damage in there.
Nah, Mac Moen was always
I mean,
like
he
that.
did so much damage. He showed me how to boot for Yalla. I didn't know how to boot for Yalla. He showed me how to boot for Yalla.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah, 89. We was there maybe months. It was a full riot in the mess hall. And if you ain't pop, you fool. You know what I'm saying? And Mac Moen, he led that riot. This was a little. He was.
And this is in the Spofford.
This is Spofford.
But
Yeah.
the one in the Bronx, or like
The one in the
when you go
Bronx.
north?
The one in the Bronx.
They knocked
Spofford is
it
only
down.
one jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rest of the system at that time was called DFY.
Yeah.
Now they
That's
call
like
it-
Harlem
now they call it
Valley.
some other shit.
Yeah.
Now it's
All
called
that
something
shit.
else.
Yeah.
Now it's
Yeah.
called something else.
And everybody went there.
I wasn't
Spofford.
even supposed to be there.
But just
Spofford
so
is
you-
like the alley
just
for-
so you
for-
know-
for young-
Yo,
for
just
young.
so
Yeah.
you know, right? As I've been bitten with him, because it was a couple years I've been bitten with Ray. I never got the vibe that fit the description for his crimes. You know what I'm saying? I'm a jail guy. Like all my relationships, no bullshit, because I grew up in the Yalla. Remember, I've been in there for a while. I came home 21, y'all.
Yeah.
That was a big. That's why I ain't had no kids like these. These niggas got little jabs and jizz. They came in, dropped a couple Yallas, came up. I'm late right now, but it's a blessing that I still produce. But the moral of the story is I miss those, but it was a different type of lifestyle. Remember, I went from juvenile to transition to the penitentiary.
To the
my nigga.
adults.
Like this is some real shit. Oh, jokes aside,
Yeah.
it was a whole nother ball game.
Yeah.
You had to be a real nigga to get where I went, the way I went, the
Yeah.
way I got kicked out the building. They came down on me like they was FBI. I was like, what the fuck? Hey, yo, come on. I'm like, where you going? Yo, you gotta go. You can't even pack your shit. Yo, they coming to get you. You going to north. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
let's go. Me and Kilo went together. And we went through downstate. You go through the system, which
Yeah.
is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? For young kids to go through that shit, I don't want nobody. I don't want my son. I don't want his friends. I don't want nobody to go through that because that system is foul, and you can get lost in that system.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? The object of the game is to overturn the system and learn what we got. What we gonna give you? What we got out of it? I got a lot out of it because for some reason I did it. I just did it to the best of my ability. I found a way to do the time. Because if not, the time will do you.
Yeah.
If you're not doing the time, trust me, my nigga, I see zombies in there. Niggas is lost.
Yeah.
It's just a whole nother world. We need to ask you from y'all.
How was it, when, you went in and you in for something that you didn't do, and this rape because they treat people, different. You know, with the rape case. So how was it? You know, you going in and have to prove yourself that this wasn't me.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's the unknown. You walk into that shit, you don't know what to expect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I knew this is jail. So, you know, I hear the stories, and then we go in there for this case, and it's like from the door, you just got to man up. That's just what it is. You got to make a decision. And for me, that decision was, I'm going in the man, I'm going to come out of man. Ain't nobody going to disrespect me. I'm going to stand on my square, and that's going to be my truth. You know what I'm saying? And in the beginning, you know, you get tested. You know, you got to do what you got to do. Even as far as administration, they look at you a certain way. They turn their back to shit. You know what I'm saying? But if you become sheep, then that's how they're gonna treat you. You know what I'm saying? And so when you take a stand, then there's a level of respect that you command, and I commanded that from the gate, and then it just built from there. It's built. So when Ching Bean come through, you know, it's different. I control half of the B side. You know what I'm saying? And he was on the B side, and so. Because even before then, when I got there, the B side always fought against the D side. So, we was with Stir and L. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Stir and L. Nah, those are my niggas. Held us down. Yeah, I came through it. And Stir, you know, me and L grew up together, and Stir too. And so when I came through, me and Stir was on the same house. You know what I'm saying? So when I get there, you know, motherfuckers is plotting. They're like, yo, when that nigga get here, we gonna jump him. So when I come in, Stir like, I was coming. And so when I get there, Stir like, y'all ain't gonna jump nobody. Y'all gonna get this nigga a fair one. So I'm like, what's good? Who wanted it? Nobody wanted it. And so it started from there. You know, and then it just built. It just built. And as cats leave, you know, the ranks open.
It's a hierarchy.
Yeah, it's a hierarchy, and you step into that. And for me, I didn't come in there wanting that shit. Motherfuckers gave me that shit. Motherfuckers had so much love for me, just how I carry myself. Yeah, they was just like, nah, we fuck with this nigga. And they gave it to me. Like when I get the B3, which is like that dome, the big dome. That's the big dome. You know, the hierarchy goes whoever has that back room. You know what I'm saying? That shit open. They was like, yo, Ray, take that. And I was like, oh, okay. And that room had the carpet. You know what I'm saying? And so, when you get there, you know, and then I'm there and shit, and then all my, like, almost like at that point, by the time Bean coming, like the whole jail fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? You can't come into jail and say, yo, that nigga's a rapist, we gonna get him. The jail like, you bugging, you not gonna do nothing to that nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Rewind a little bit, like that day, like say I seen the series When They See Us, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah.
So I seen it, but like in the beginning they show like, you know, y'all was, cause I know it's not always exactly how it went, like you know the movie. So I'm asking like how when y'all was walking to the park or whatever, like were y'all like wilding out, doing all of that, like y'all like regular kid shit?
No, yeah. What happened was, see, I'm from the east side of Harlem. Yeah. So I'm not from Schaumburg. So I don't know Kevin, Corey, Yusuf, or Antron.
So that was absolutely
Antron went to me and him. We went to the same school. We was in the same building.
Y'all wasn't together.
I ain't know them niggas.
Oh, he didn't know them.
I ain't know them niggas.
Wow.
So,
Only two of them knew each other.
Yeah. So what happened was, I wound up coming over with some of my dudes from the east side because Schaumburg had some nice looking girls and they had a party. So we we go over there. We trying to mac. Yeah. So that's why I went over there with my dudes. And we have mutual friends within the group because them dudes hang out in front of the building all day. Okay. Right? They be at that 110th Street entrance. That's their backyard. Yeah. So when we get there, we just hanging out in front of the birds, just chilling. Yeah. I don't know these niggas. Yeah. And so them niggas hang out in the park, so they going in the park, and then my niggas like, yo, just come on, let's roll. Yeah. I'm 14. Yeah. So I'm rolling with my dudes who are a little bit older. Yeah. So I just follow. I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's just go. And then what happens when we get into as we get into the park, police roll up on us and they hit us with the spotlight. Yeah. So motherfuckers just run. Yeah. Kids, we 14 years old, motherfuckers just run.
Yeah. That's as soon as y'all walk into the park.
Like we in that shit like a hot 10 minutes.
For no reason.
For no reason. Some motherfuckers just took off.
Yeah, that's just natural. That's young black and Hispanic kids, what we used to because they do us dirty like they did to y'all.
Exactly.
This is why we run.
Exactly.
Exactly what happened to y'all. But yeah.
So you know, everybody dispersed and shit. And so I'm running with a dude who I don't even know. Yeah. Now, I'm like, I don't be in the park. Yeah. So I don't know that shit. Yeah, so I gotta stick to this nigga because I'm like, damn, wherever he go, I'm going. Yeah. But he take me deeper into the park. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, and then it goes from there and shit where it's like, you know, shit happens in the park. Motherfuckers is doing dumb shit. Yeah. Not, you know what I'm saying? But we was the most naive of the group, the five of us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so afterwards, shit, when we exit the park, I get arrested right outside the park.
So they arrested more than just y'all 5?
Yeah. It wasn't the 5 that you see now wasn't the 5 that got arrested that night. It was I got arrested.
Again.
No, I got arrested. Kev got arrested. I ain't know him. A kid named Lamont McCall, who y'all never heard of, got arrested. Another kid named Clarence Thomas got arrested, and the kid named Lopez got arrested.
Yeah, that's cut. That's when it was only 6.
He was in Goshen with us. Steve Lopez. He was on wing 3 or 2.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Steve Lopez could have got a check too.
I remember that shit.
Niggas told him, "Come on, let's go to trial." What happened? He copped out, right, y'all?
Copped out, y'all.
He copped out.
And so that was the 5 that got arrested that night.
Yeah.
And
so only 5 people got arrested the first night.
Yeah.
Which was dumb, and you was arrested.
I was arrested that night, but I didn't know none of these niggas.
Yeah. Okay.
And then as the days went on, going into the interrogation, they started bringing cats in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they started getting
how
names.
did they even get the other people? Because they took their names down that day,
Yeah,
the first day?
from some of these guys. The niggas that they got.
Oh.
Or who I was with, like that. So they got names, and they started bringing cats in.
Yeah.
And so all together they brought, like, it's estimated they brought about 40 people in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so and then
how do you?
So originally we was charged with a bunch of misdemeanors.
Yeah.
Rioting, trespassing, shit like that.
Yeah.
And so we was supposed to be given a disappearance ticket.
Yeah.
But they found the jogger like in the wee hours in the morning.
After they had y'all.
After they had us. So what happened was they thought she wasn't gonna make it. She was gonna die, right? Because she lost all this blood. They found her in a ravine, in a muddy ravine, and she lost all this blood. So they thought it was a homicide case. Right. So this is why the homicide North Detective Squad come in. Okay. So, but what happened is she don't die. Right. But they still proceed with the investigation, and then they proceed with the interrogations. You know what I'm saying? And so the interrogations, it's estimated we in those rooms for 15 to 30 hours. You know what I'm saying? That's 14 and 15, and Corey is a 16-year-old kid. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then what you see, on Law and Order with the good cop, bad cop, that's the shit that's the play. You know what I'm saying? And when you dealing with naive 14, 15-year-old kids who never had no dealings with the law, that shit is easy.
And y'all parents weren't there?
Well, what happened was they wound up coming early in the morning, and so
they had them all night.
But we was there all night. So what happened when they put me in there with my grandmother, right? She spoke very little English. She could talk like curse words in English, but she couldn't carry a conversation. So the detective had to translate every time he stopped. That shit was taking too long. So they was like, "Yo, we got to get her out," and that's what they did. So what they did was they had a cop come knock at the door. And he would come in and he would talk to my grandmother in Spanish, and he would say, "Hey, can you come outside and talk to you?" And it's because everything was sweet. She's thinking it's sweet, so she walk out. But that's when they start to do the shit that they do. You know what I'm saying? And so by the second time, when they take her out, she comes back in. She see I'm a little shook, so she like, "Yo, like, what's up with him?" And he's like, "Nah, he good, he alright." And I'm looking at her like, "No, I'm not." You know what I'm saying? But these are authority figures, and the tactic that they're using on me is with cops that are really big, tall.
And the same shit they're using on her.
Yeah, mentally. You know what I'm saying? And so it gets to the point where they take out a third time, and the detective gets upset at me now. So he bangs on the table, and he's like, "I'm tired of this shit. You're going to give me what I want to know." And he reached out at me, right? And at that moment, I'm like, "Oh, this nigga about to kill me."
This shit they do.
I ain't gonna make it. So he got me to that point of me feeling like hopelessness and desperate. No, I just know I was stuck. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know the facts. So I can't tell you what happened.
You actually don't know what the
I actually don't know.
Yeah.
But in the same instance, there's a detective in the back. I don't even see the nigga come through the door. And he stops this nigga and he screams on him, "Fuck is you doing? You crazy? Get the fuck out of here. Don't you ever..." And so I'm like, "Oh, shit, this nigga just saved my life."
Good cop, bad cop,
You know what I'm saying? And when he walks the nigga to the door and he slams the door, and then the pitch just comes. You know, but I'm thinking like, this nigga just saved me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He trying to help me.
Yeah, you young, vulnerable.
So what he did was he took a picture of Kevin Richardson, right? And he asked me, "Do you know him?" I said, "Nah, I don't know him." And he said, "Well, you see the scratch under his face? Like, we know that came from a woman. This nigga's going to jail. But I don't want you to go to jail. You a good kid. I know you ain't do this shit. You got a lot of girls, right?" I'm like, "Yeah," like a little dummy. Like, "Yeah." And he's like, "So, you know what I'm saying? Help me." And then he just sat back. And so the pressure at that moment becomes so intense, and it's so great. As a 14-year-old kid, what do I do? So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna just lie. You know You know what I'm saying? Figure that shit out later. I just want the pressure to stop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right at this moment. So I'm like, yeah, Kevin. So he says, what'd he do? I said, nigga, I don't know. Like, he raped the woman. Oh, that's not good enough. You got to give me a description. No, I don't know. Like, for me, my imaginary process, it doesn't work like that where I'm just going to formulate a story. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So then he had to give me what he perceived he thought was the facts. Because at the time, they were still investigating. So they didn't really have all this shit together. You know what I'm saying? So for instance, he says, when he has me at a point of like, I'm trying to just get this nigga a story. And he's like, yo, this woman, she got all these injuries around her face, her eyes. She losing a lot of blood. We don't know if she gonna make it. He had to use something. And he said, you know, something, Raymond, a rock, a brick, a pipe, something. And at that moment, he gave me options. A rock, a brick, a pipe. And so my dumb ass said, well, a brick. And he said, okay, who had the brick? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know these niggas. So he gave me names. What did Steven Lopez do? That's the kid that got arrested with me that night. I'm like, all right, he had the brick. You know what I'm saying? And so I gave him this false narrative thinking that they're gonna figure it out and come back later on and I'm gonna be in trouble. But they never came back. Like that brick winds up making the front of the Newsday newspaper, right? That brick is presented in trial. Put it on the table, they take a picture that shit's on the front of the paper the next day as the weapon that's used, right? With no blood on it, no nothing. And so we sit there thinking like, when is somebody gonna figure this shit out, right? And so they get to the point where they take handprints, footprints, hair samples, blood samples. They take our clothes. And so we waiting for that shit to come back. And the whole world's waiting. Because at this point, there's over 400 articles written about us within the first 2 weeks of this case. Dissecting the lives of 14 and 15-year-old kids, right? That's where you start to hear the labels of wilding, super predator, urban terrorist, right? Wolfpack, right? And so they giving the world this narrative. And the DNA evidence hasn't even come back yet. So now when it comes back, it doesn't match. And so what happens is during our civil trial, we find out that the district attorney, one of her peoples, writes a book. And he writes about the actual conversation that they have when the DNA evidence doesn't come back. And she says, I feel like I've been kicked in my stomach because this shit doesn't match. I don't know what to do. And at that moment is when they start to formulate the plan of how we gonna keep going, and we gonna stuff this peg in there, we gonna put a bow on it, and shit's gonna look nice, and everybody's gonna believe it. And that's what they did to us.
That's fucked up.
So how y'all don't get cleared when the DNA doesn't match? I don't understand that. Isn't that law?
Because what happens is that you have, at that point, now we have written statements. We have videotape statements.
That they wrote the statements.
They wrote the statement
and made y'all write it.
Yeah, no, we didn't write it. They wrote it.
Yeah,
we signed
I mean,
it.
made y'all sign it. That's what I'm saying. That happened to my man Doughboy. He did 12 years for murder he didn't do. Like two of his friends, they got a video statement saying they did it and he didn't do it.
Yeah.
And they wrote a statement. They beat him up. They wrote a statement and made him sign the shit. And he did 12 years for murder he didn't do. Or the people that did it said they did it and he didn't do it.
Now they found at that moment, you gotta understand, this is like a real serious case. This is a white woman.
Yeah.
This is a white
At that
woman.
time,
Upper
the
East
justice
Side.
system didn't have as much. It wasn't
Like
the
social
door wasn't
media,
open.
all this
The
open,
door
yeah.
wasn't. Whatever they did in
Yeah.
the precinct to us when we was kids.
Yeah, nobody
Like that shit
knew.
is just
Yeah,
like
that
regular.
system was running.
Word.
How
let's
they
go.
was
It didn't
operating was
matter.
going.
Let's go.
Word.
Yeah,
You
it
could
didn't
have been
matter.
in Brooklyn and some shit happened in Queens.
Yeah.
We got you tonight. You
Yeah.
going through for this.
Yeah.
Figure it out later.
Fast
Yeah.
forward now. How did you feel when you heard the information of the dude that the real killer?
Mm-hmm. Well, what happened was I was in downstate. Matter of fact, I was in Franklin. I was in Franklin Correctional. That's about 9 hours from New York. And they brought me down to downstate, which is processing center. And I didn't know why I was there. They had me down for my status was other. So one of the CEOs was like, yo, you down as a other. I said, what the hell is a other? So he said, rat. I said, whoa, easy. That's not what I'm here for, right? So I'm thinking maybe they're trying to tie me to some investigation shit. So I get in the room with these detectives and they're like, yo, we want to talk to you about your old case. So I'm like, what you mean my old case? They're like, you know, we trying to change policies and shit, so what happened? So I tell them, like, yo, we innocent, we didn't do this shit. So then they try to give me some photos. They was like, do you know anybody in the photos? And at that point, I'm like, oh, y'all trying to pull something. But I'm going to play the game because I want to see where it goes, right? And so what we found out later on is that they put the photo of Mateus Reyes in there. And they wanted to see if I picked it out.
Right.
But I ain't know the nigga. So I bypassed the shit. Then they come to find out that once they let me go and I'm going back to my cell, I'm like, I'm going back to my facility. They're like, yeah. Then some of my mans is in another complex. And they hit me through the vine like, yo, the nigga who did your case is here. I'm like, what the fuck you talking about? They're like, yo, the actual nigga who committed your shit, he in complex 1. You in complex 3. He's here telling them the story. And at that moment, I'm just bugging like, man, get the fuck out of here. Y'all niggas is tripping.
Like what?
So I had a CO who was in Goshen, right? And he wound up working at downstate. So he would call me to the joint and be like,
time you down? How long?
I mean, at this point, no, I'm on a drug case. I'm on a new case. I got 3.5 to 7. I'm in 4 years.
Y'all made parole for the initial case?
I had the CR.
You CR'd on the initial case.
CR'd out.
So now you went on another case.
Yeah.
And this is when this new information comes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
And so I'm in downstate and the CO, I ain't gonna say his name. He called me and said, yo, get on the jack, do what you do. I'm like, all right. So I called my pops. I'm like, yo, they got me in downstate and they questioned me about this old shit. So my pops started laughing on the jack. And I'm like, yo, what you laughing at, nigga? Like, this shit not funny. And he's like, yo, they found a nigga who did it. I'm like, did what? The nigga who did your case, nigga. Like, get ready, you coming home.
People in the street knew that.
My dad knew, yeah, they knew already.
Okay.
I didn't know. And so when he's telling me, I'm just looking at this nigga like, this nigga bugging. So I banged it on him because I got mad. I hung up on him. So then I went back in my son. They want to ship me back to Franklin. And then I get to Franklin, maybe like 2 days later, this kid does an interview. And he tells this full story. The Reyes kid, he tells the interview. And
So you never met him or nothing?
never met him, never seen him, nothing.
To this day.
Yeah.
Right? And at that point, I'm in Franklin for 4 years, and so I'm watching this dude and I'm just bugging. Like, yo, this nigga, he really did it. But I'm so institutionalized that I'm like, these motherfuckers are gonna try to make him the sixth man. You know what I'm saying? It's just that I had a good lawyer, Michael Warren and Roger Wareham was my attorneys, and Michael was Tupac's lawyer. And so, they was already they was on point with it. So they knew like the city.
Did they try that?
Huh? Oh, 100%. 100%. And how we found, we would have never known if we didn't file our lawsuit on the federal level. The civil suit. Once we filed it on the civil suit, then they had to give us all the documents. So we was able to pinpoint who made the decision to prosecute. We was able to pinpoint in the reinvestigation when the police was trying to connect us to Reyes. Like, we even have an email from the district attorney who was Robert Morgenthau at the time, and he's telling the police department, y'all niggas is dirty. Y'all trying to link these boys in with that kid, and they ain't have nothing to do. He's like, I'm not gonna let y'all talk to Reyes, and we gonna continue with the investigation. You know what I'm saying? But they was trying their hardest. And I mean, they got so dirty on us that, they created an Armstrong report, right, with a police report, and it's like 3 theories on how we're still guilty. Commissioner Ray Kelly, who was there at the civil suit, he said we were still guilty, according to the according to the report.
When the case happened, I'm not gonna label this shit as your case because it ain't your case.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? At the time that this case took place with the jogger shit, Kelly was an officer.
Yeah, he was an officer.
Detective or just?
I don't remember if he was a detective. I know he was an officer though. I think he was on the job. And so at this point, he's the commissioner. And I mean, he told me straight to my face. He's like, yo, I don't care what y'all tell me. I'm a police officer. I'm rolling with the Armstrong report. Like, no disrespect, but it is what it is.
On the black and white. That's how they look at you when you go to any facility.
Yeah.
Whatever says on that paper, that's how they looking at you. Yo, this nigga, they ain't looking at straight up and down, black and white. Yo, listen, just because what it says they on black and white, that shit follows you wherever.
Yeah.
You got to go to this, you got to do that, you got to do this. That's it, point blank. They don't want to hear nothing.
Yeah.
Then the thugging starts when you like, man, fuck you, whatever. All right, let's go.
But Mateus Reyes, he had to, he had to continuously tell his story.
He was already in for about.
He was already. He's serving 33 1/3 to life for the rape and murder of a pregnant woman. Yeah.
Before that happened or after?
This was after.
That was
So
after.
after the jogger, he went on to commit another like 4 or 5 rapes and then the murder. You know what I'm saying? And so he had to continuously keep telling his story, and it got to a point where he did a deposition that lasted 3 days on the stand, and he was like, "Yo, I'm tired, man. I'm trying to tell you what really happened, the truth, and y'all still trying to connect me to these kids. And he was like, yo, after this shit, don't call me no more. Fuck y'all, I'm done with this shit. You know what I'm saying? But we was able to get his shit, you know, in the affidavit. He testified several times, his DNA matched. And then he was able to tell them a lot of facts about the case that they didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And so, and they still was trying to tie him to us.
How much older than y'all was he?
I was 14, he might have been about 16, 17. And so, and then he went on to give them 4 unsolved cases.
In the park. That was his spot?
Period.
What made him just want to give up all the information?
So what happened was he was in Auburn Correctional, and he saw Corey Wise spinning in the yard, right? That's walking the yard. He saw him spinning in the yard. And he was like, yo, the kid is still here. At this point, Corey's there almost 13 and a half years, right? And he's like, yo, this kid is still here for something I did. And so he approached Corey, but he didn't tell him he did it. He just had a conversation with Corey. And the conversation was so warm that he just felt compelled, like, damn, I got to do something. So he went back and talked to his people and started telling, and that's how he started telling his story. He started getting it out. You know what I'm saying? And then that's how he started doing it.
He did some fucked up shit, but at the end he made it right for y'all. And that's,
100%.
So how much time you wind up doing overall?
So
I did 13 years altogether.
13 years?
Over that, they had to pull you back down because
he was out already.
So no, I was in.
For the original case, you was out.
He was out, but
I was out.
Yeah,
I was out.
He's not a career criminal or
so the sentence got to change.
So what happened was they brought me back down. They dropped the jogging case because I was sentenced as a 2-time felon, right? A predicate. Yeah, and so they were smart though because the drug case that I had, it should have been a misdemeanor. It should have been dropped down to possession or something, right? Because the lab report came back real weak. Thank you. And so so they had to drop it down, and instead of giving me probation because I have 4 years in, they gave me a 1.5 to a 4.5. So they was like, oh, you got time served, you can go. And you know, I was like, I can go. I'm out. You know what I'm saying?
That's how they always get you.
And so that's how they had to do it. They had to re-sentence me.
So let me ask you this, family. You just said to us that when the real evidence got to you, you was back in prison on a new case.
Yeah.
So they took you off the streets at 14 for something you didn't do.
100%.
You did the 13 years.
I did 7.
7. So I'm gonna say for whatever time you did for something you didn't do, you came back out. The lab report wasn't right, but you came back out as I would say at that time, what, 21?
Yeah, 20. Yep, 21.
I would assume you was angry, you was bitter, you was mad, and you just wanted to do what you wanted to do. Because me, I know for me, I didn't take doing time serious until I was like 35. That shit was just like stripes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I didn't pay attention to nothing. I didn't like, fuck this. We cutting niggas, we beating, we robbing, we selling drugs.
Oh, we outside. We outside.
We doing what we do.
Yard.
I didn't take it serious until I was like 34, 35. And say, hold up, I gotta flip this shit. I gotta remix this shit. So I'm just saying, I'm imagining that you just came out the same way.
But I didn't
for some shit you didn't do, because I'm feeling this way for everything. All the shit I ever been in jail for, I did.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how your thought process was for some shit you didn't do.
Yeah, it was a build-up because when I came out, you know, I had a GED, I had an associate's degree. You know, I read a ton of books. I thought I had some smarts, so I was like, I got some keys. You know, I could unlock some doors and I can maneuver, but I didn't know to come home and I had a 7 o'clock curfew. That stigma. I had to register as a sex offender. I had to attend sex offender meetings. So now I got to sit in the group of motherfuckers telling their story. That really did this shit, and I got to listen to that shit. And then it was just the overall odds, how you got to walk on eggshells. Now here it is that because I got this rape charge on my shit, I can't even date properly. I can't. It's hard. I gotta watch how I talk. And if she got a kid, I'm not even trying to fuck with that. You know what I'm saying? So I had to walk on eggshells for a long time. So it did build up where I got to a point that I just was like, yo, nobody's gonna give me an opportunity. I filled out numerous applications. Nobody gonna hire no sex offender. And then it's like the jogging case.
It's like it's not just a sex offender.
I'm level 3. And then it's the biggest shit in New York. So it's like nobody gonna hire me. So it's like at the point I'm just like, damn. I start looking at the corner and I'm like, damn, I don't gotta fill out no application for that shit. I can maneuver that shit because I maneuver prison. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I did. I was like, fuck it. It's easy to get 50 grams and bubble that shit. You know what I'm saying? I knew the game. You know what I'm saying? So, but the thing was that when I got caught, I wasn't sitting there trying to beat the case. I was trying to negotiate because at this point I knew I was guilty. So I was like, yo, just give me something I can handle that I can come back from, and we good. So when they offered me 3.5 to 7, the next one was 4.5 to 9. I was like, all right, let's take that. You know how this shit go, dude. So it was gone. I'll be back. 4 years. I see y'all when I come back. You know what I'm saying? And it just I didn't know that this was gonna happen.
Yeah. So when you got out, how did the lawsuit come about?
So once we get exonerated, you know, the city tried to offer us some bullshit. You know how they try to do? They try to lowball you, because everybody has to file in the court of claims, and the court of claims is based on how much time you serve in prison, not all the other shit. So my lawyer was like, nah, we got to file on the federal level. So I'm like, why? He said, because now you get all access to all paperwork. They can't hold nothing. They got to give us everything, and which was, I mean, it set a precedent because everybody after us filed on the federal level. You know what I'm saying? The city got mad when we filed on the federal level because they said, fuck, these niggas gonna get all the info now. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we did. And so once we uncovered all that info, now we like, shit, let's go to trial. We ready. You know what I'm saying? But they fucking, you know, they swindled us for 11 years. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't, so when Mayor Bloomberg comes in, remember, he served 3 terms.
You saying 11 years after you was out?
Yeah. The lawsuit took us 11 years. The civil case took 11 years because when Mayor Bloomberg becomes mayor, this is a no-pay case for him. He not settling this shit. You know, we find out that he worked at Solomon Brothers, the same place that Jogger worked. Same place Jogger worked. So this became personal. And then he got 3 terms. So we was like, damn, we here fighting this federal case, but this shit is not making no movement. Even the magistrate is looking at the city like, we not gonna settle this shit? We can't get these dudes their day in court. We got 4 or 5 months because y'all can't, you know, transfer information from a floppy to a regular. Like, this is the shit that they doing to us. They dragging us. You know what I'm saying? And so then we had to get strategic. So we're like, all right, who's the next 4 mayoral candidates that's up? Right? So you had, you know, Christine Quinn and John Liu and all these cats that was running. So we made sure we got in front of every one of them. Get a photo. You know, at this time, the Central Park 5, the doc is out. And everybody's supporting that shit. So once we, like that doc, you know, before that doc, like people came to us and they wanted to do the story, but it was always about who do you think did it. It was never about it was never about telling the real narrative. They just they wanted to make it for TV, and so we kept refusing everybody. You know what I'm saying? We like, nah, because you're not gonna tell the story right. You know what I'm saying? And so we wound up getting in front of all these mayoral candidates, get everything rocking, and when the doc is hitting, Ken Burns gives us that credibility from white America. Because this is a black story, it's a Hispanic story, nobody wants to touch it, it's a New York story. Even when Ken Burns goes to get the funding, some of his regular funders are saying no, they're not touching this shit. So they ain't want hands on, but once he does it and he puts it out, we get white America because Ken Burns gives us the credit now.
And is it true that Trump paid like $85,000 for an ad?
Yeah.
To get y'all to get y'all the death penalty.
So he told to reinstate the death penalty. This was maybe like 2 or 3 weeks into the case. We wasn't convicted, nothing. I mean, at that point though, all these articles are being written about us. So he's going off the propaganda. So he's like, nah, these dudes is guilty. We need to bring back the death penalty. I mean, even George Pataki. George Pataki came in and he used that shit to his advantage. You know, I'm gonna pull colleges out of prison. I'm gonna give jobs to upstate New York. Vote me in. And so, work release, took everything. And even Joe Biden, when they introduced the 1994 crime bill, just, you know, the term super predator, that came from right here. That was that's the term they gave us, because now they were saying that juveniles are becoming more they become more heartless, and they doing more heinous crimes. And 41 states changed juvenile laws behind us. You know, like this shit affect the world. You know what I'm saying?
That's when juveniles getting charged as adults and
shit. They still are. Now it's probably even younger. Before it was like 16, a certain age.
16 you get charged as adult.
14 you get
14 you get it, but you can't get the same time.
You can't get the same
For
time.
murder, 9 to life
Yeah.
was the cap.
Yeah, we were charged as adults and sentences as juveniles because that was given our first strike. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what they wanted to make sure that they set us up.
It is bad. It's horrible. So Ray, fast forward now.
Mm-hmm.
What bill reform you fighting for now? What's going on?
All right, so we fought for last year. We fought for a bill, which we got it passed. Was that all interrogations had to be recorded, right? And then we fought after a bill that now police can't lie to juveniles. So now we stepping the bill up. But we're saying that police can't lie at all.
Yeah, that word.
Right?
Why they able to lie?
That's the first one.
You can't lie.
Yeah, let's pull that whole shit away because we know that the Reed technique is there and they use that, which is 7 steps to get somebody to confess. Good cop, bad cop, any persuasion tactics. Right. You know what I'm saying? And one of the other bills that we're fighting to get pushed is something I've been pushing for a long time, is that we want, when the juvenile's arrested, we want an attorney to be there to help make sure that he get his due process on call when he's going through the system. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's bills like that we're fighting to get out there because that shit makes a difference. It's on that front end that we trying to stop.
That's,
you know what I'm saying?
Where
That
most
pipeline.
of the convictions come from.
Oh, 100%.
That front end.
That front end.
That front end.
That front end.
Especially for juveniles. Like when we was juveniles, they just take us in and we don't know what the fuck.
And another,
whatever. Next thing you know, you in Goshen.
100%.
Harlem Valley.
100%.
What the fuck I did?
And another one of the bills that we trying to get passed is that we trying to because a person can say they've been falsely convicted, right? But they'll look at it if it's a DNA case. So now we trying to get it where it's all cases. So if a person says I've been falsely convicted, then we need to know why. Why? What happened? Then reinvestigate the case and look at it.
So right
Shout
now,
out to
so right now it's
Sherm
only
the Worm.
DNA.
Sherm the Worm is fighting.
Sherm the Worm.
He just called me the other day.
Yeah, that's the homie right there, man. I watched Sherm come through. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah, he was there. Yeah, Spofford and Goshen.
So how does it feel being a reality star now? You know what I'm saying?
Fast forward.
Super fast.
No. Now we fast forward to the reality TV Raymond Santana. So how this works? You moved down to Atlanta. Talk to us, because I know you moved to Atlanta. You bought a big house. Because you told me come down. Listen, man, I know a lot of good friends. Come down, Ching Bing.
Yeah.
And you buy a big house. You buy nice, fast cars. What you driving right now, man? What's your favorite car right now?
Right now I got a GT63. Yeah, I got the GT63 S.
Black?
I got silver. And I got a S63. London drive. That's what car she drives. The S63.
What, the 4-seater, the GT?
Yeah. The new joint.
Yeah, that's the shit he trying to get. That's the shit Boom about to get.
Boom did that?
Yeah, Boom got that now.
Yeah. No, that's
that's
He's
all.
got one of them shits. So, I turn every time that nigga pull next to me at the light.
So I know you moved to Atlanta. You got that vibe. You know what I'm saying? that Park Madison ends up in Atlanta.
Yeah.
You go out. You have a good meeting. I think it was with Candy or something. I can't
Candy
remember
and Todd.
a little.
Yeah, it was Todd's birthday
Todd's
party.
birthday party.
Todd's birthday party.
And your life changed. Tell us about that. Man. No.
All right.
Give us the rundown, man.
All right, so it's Todd's birthday in Atlanta. We had Tiki Lounge, right?
Yeah.
One of my good spots. Shout out to Mabel. Yeah. We in Tiki Lounge, and my nephew hit me. So he like, yo, guess who just walked in the building? So I'm like, who? We in our section, we chilling. He's like, Delicious. So I'm like, oh, okay, all right, it's cool, whatever. So I'm like, where's she at? He like, she over there in the corner. So I
you
look.
had a thing for?
Nah, it's just my nephew. My nephew, it's just him. He see a beautiful woman, he just.
He called it up.
Yeah, he called, yeah.
Batmobile, we coming outside.
So.
Batmobile, we coming outside.
Bring out the Batmobile. So and then I send a message over to Candy. I'm like, yo, I want to tell Delicious, I just wanted to pay some respect because she in the building. So Candy, like, come here. She called me over and she introduced me to her. And so she's London's sitting there with her moms. And so, she introduced me to her mom. I say hello. And then when I go to reach London's hand, I bring in give her a hug. And so I place my hand in the small of her back, right? And so, I'm just like, yo, pleasure to meet you. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to just let you be. Enjoy your night. I'm going to go over here. And so the next morning I wake up, I get on the gram, and she following me. So I said, well, let me see what her profile, let me see what the photos look like. So my ass, I start double tapping. Right? I'm like, oh, this shit. Oh, okay.
Y'all was looking good, y'all.
So she followed me back, and then she DM'd me. Right? She DM'd me and shit. And she was like, yo, you like another one of my photos, you gonna have to take me to lunch. And I was like, well, I'll give you dinner too, because I'm a tap. You know what I'm saying? And so we just started vibing and kicking it from there.
I see you had comment on her page in the beginning. You was like, you said something like you was looking good or something yesterday, and then she was like,
yeah, she was
you
shot.
should have tried. She said, maybe you should have shot your shot.
Yeah.
I remember that. She was like, you should have shot your shot.
No.
You, Ray.
No.
I told
So what
you
happened was,
New York, baby, we on you,
We rooting for you. Listen, we are rooting for you.
no doubt,
nigga.
no doubt.
Let's be clear.
So go ahead.
Smoke Chance 5. Smoke Chance 5.
So what happened was, we was talking, back and forth, DMing, and so I wound up not talking to her for like 2 months, like just here and there and shit. So she thought I was blowing her off, she thought. But what happened was I was promoting When They See Us. I was on the road a lot, so I was just busy. And so I'm in Houston. I'm getting ready to go home, and I'm on the gram, and I look at her story, and she got like a little video like she on a date, right? And I'm like, oh, so I just hit her real quick, like, yo, what you doing? Don't get it fucked up. I'll be back tomorrow. Like, we gonna hook, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see you. So she's like, yeah, all right, whatever. So she's like, look, you really wanna see me, come to my show. So I'm like, what's the show? So she's like, The Dungeon. So I'm like, yeah, bet I come to that shit. That shit ain't about nothing. I'll be there when you want me to come. So I called Ty, cause it's his show. I'm like, yo, what's this dungeon shit? So he started laughing. So he like, my nigga, look at these videos and these pics. And so it's a real like sexual show. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, all right, fuck it, I gotta go. So I wound up going and shit, and it was a dope show. And then after that, we just
Hold on.
Show, like, like what you mean? Like, what?
Like,
What's
it's the dungeon. It's sexy ambiance.
They dancing, they swinging.
Well, they perform it. They're not naked.
They role playing.
They're not naked.
They role playing.
No, they're not naked. They Candy's performing songs. The Delicious is performing songs. They have a bunch of people that come in there. Tamar Braxton is there. You know what I'm saying? But it just has a sexual. It's like a sexual, sensual vibe. Yeah. And they tell the crowd you can come as you is. So you're gonna see a lot of patent leather, all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? But
Purple air.
yeah. But it was a dope show. So I enjoyed it. And then after that, after that,
Hold up.
What happened?
After that, vacation in Mexico. I'm on you.
Yo, Dollar.
I'm on you, my nigga. From the dungeon to the airport? I'm listen, my nigga. I'm keeping it 100 because I want to go where the story goes. Listen, Mexico. How was Mexico? Talk about it.
Let me grab this first.
Tell me.
So at this point, like, we just kicking it, but we not really.
We not on a date.
We not physical.
No, it was a date.
Definitely.
Mexico?
Yeah. Look,
Come on with you, y'all. No, it's super fire. Listen,
Listen,
I'm with him every step.
Let him get it out. Let him get it out.
Get it out.
All right. So we kicking it, and she's like, yo, what you did for your birthday? What you do for this? And I'm like, I ain't really do nothing. I was just chilling. So she was like, let's do something. I'm like, fuck it, let's go. So we shoot to Mexico.
Hold on. That was too.
Listen,
that was too fast.
Let me tell you something about love. When you in the Yala and there's a seafood Yala, you just
it's a vibe.
Listen, it's a vibe.
All I'm saying is,
it's
y'all leave the dungeon and go straight to
No,
hospital.
it just said from there a couple days.
Y'all partied a little bit.
I'm
with it.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm only knowing what's going on because I saw the water.
They was giving us the cliff notes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, because
I'm toe and toe was everything that's going on. Let's go.
Yeah, that was one of the moments that went viral for us.
But how was it? Because he stopped you.
Mexico was lit, son. Like, it was a vibe.
Mexico changed your life.
No, Mexico changed my life. That I've been there a couple more times.
Okay.
But
I know, but I'm saying it was delicious.
With delicious. I've been a couple
came
more
back
times.
after that, and Poppy, I went into the store after that. We had the signing. I'm coming through. I got the video. We had the signing.
Yeah, we had the pop-up shot. Yeah,
we had the pop. I'm coming. I'm in your life.
No doubt.
All the way to reality TV.
No doubt.
To where you at now. I'm so proud of you, Mr. Santana. You know what I'm saying? You doing your thing. drafted by God. Mike Hoof is back.
in the building. In the building.
Mike Hoof, but we keep it chapter by chapter with Mr. Santana because
Mexico we're delicious.
not only do we got
the freak party.
Yo, not only do we got Mr. Santana in the building, a lot of people don't know that not only you a public advocate, like a public figure, and you are entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? How many, how did your company do, Park Madison? Because I see that.
Yeah, what gave you the idea to do the shirts?
I started Park Madison NYC in 2014 because as a kid, I loved to sketch. Yeah. And so I was always, in my books, drawing and stuff. And when I went to prison, I lost that passion. So I tried to regain it throughout the years, but it just couldn't come back. And so after exoneration, I felt like I had this load off. And I was sitting there talking to my boy, and he was like, yo, what you want to do now? You know what I'm saying? You could go travel the world, go chill. And I was like, nah, I got to try to reclaim this passion because it's still lingering. It's there, right? I can't let it go. And so he said, so what do you want to do? And I said, I want to design T-shirts. And he looked at me like, nigga, that's what you want to do? Like,
you had the bag.
Yeah. He's like, you can do whatever you want.
And this is what you want to do.
And this is what you want to do.
Welcome to the club. That's what I think.
Definitely, we gonna work. You know what I'm saying? And so I started the company 2014. We was rocking. We was doing good. And so when I designed the Brotherhood T-shirts, right before When They See Us came out, that changed the game. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Ava because when I designed it, I showed it to her. Right? Because at this point, I was running the company all by myself.
Let me stop you though, right?
Yeah.
Let me stop you. This ain't Drink Champs. This is Smoke Champs. We don't get big flexes like that. Ava who?
Oh, Ava DuVernay.
Okay, hello.
That's
our audience. They need the last name.
Okay. All right, I got you. Yeah, no, that's my sister. You know what I'm saying? She that's my homie.
She betrayed.
So anyway, so what happened
100%.
when you did the shirts? Who wore your shirt that made this shit go to the moon?
So, all right.
Tell them who wore your shit and they went to the moon. Tell them, baby. Tell them.
Shit. Oprah was one.
Oprah put on the y'all when they see us.
Cicely Tyson. Candy.
Ching Lotto.
You know what I'm saying? Nah, definitely. Really?
The first hoodie. I had the jacket. I still wear it.
Yeah, on the run eating. Y'all had my shit on the run eating.
I remember we was in the W. Buckhead. It's not even
I pulled up on y'all at the W.
You and your nephew, we was chilling, hanging out.
Yeah.
And real, this I wanted to say this to you, right? Like, as younger, I heard your story and all that, so you hear oh, they got money, they all got millions and shit, you feel me? So I'm like, they good, man, they rich, they got money. So then the series come out, I seen the documentary as well, but when the series come out, I watched the shit. And I really see the shit y'all went through and the trauma and everything. And I'm like, yo, it's really no money that can even replace that.
Nah.
You feel me? They stole years of your life, your childhood. Yeah. That shit is unbelievable.
And the money made it more difficult because, our parents, they didn't get no money. There's other exonerees from other ethnic backgrounds that when they got lawsuit money, their parents got money. You know what I'm saying? And for us, they didn't give our parents nothing. So here it is, they gave us this money, but we got to take care of our people. Really, the money goes more for my daughter than it goes for me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I got to just know how to balance it and try to budget the shit so that she can enjoy it.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of bullshit that come with it. Fact. You know what I'm saying? My DM is full of a lot of motherfuckers asking for money. You know what I'm saying? And people counting your pocket. I ain't got it. You ain't got it. You just bought that Benz. Yep. You can't help me. Right. No, nigga. Fuck you. I ain't helping you. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so, and then comes all the sucker shit after that. He couldn't look out. He was on this shit. He was on that tip.
This nigga never sent you a lick stamp.
Nothing.
Never did nothing for you.
Nothing.
Word.
Nothing.
That's
You
real.
know what I'm saying? And I mean, in this game, with the civil suit, even the attorneys, they got to pay out faster than we did. You know what I'm saying? So you look at this money, everybody go $42 million, but you got to divide it amongst 5 dudes, 5 attorneys, and then family members. You know what I'm saying? And then when you finish, you go, damn, that's all I got left.
Word.
I got a budget. I got to cook.
Figure this shit out.
You got to figure it out.
That's real.
And so, you know, people think, oh, they give you that money, y'all good. Hell no. That shit came with a whole new responsibility.
Word.
Right? I ain't know nothing about buying a house, buying a car, nothing. I had to figure all that shit out. Make mistakes, do dumb shit. You know what I'm saying?
You got people that's just, even in all of those places that you said, the car dealer, the realty, they trying to take advantage of you
100%.
because they know you don't know what the fuck is going on.
100%. So you gotta learn everything on the fly as it goes. So you make some mistakes. You know what I'm saying? But the money, you know, people think is a blessing, but it's a curse that come with it.
That's real.
So let me ask you
That's
a
super
question.
real.
I see you love reality TV. You tap in.
Yeah, tap.
Marriage therapy.
Yeah.
How did that go down?
It was I mean, they called us because they, you know, at the time we was a new couple. We was popping on the gram, and so we was hot. So they called us in to do it, and you know, we was like, let's go check it out. You know, it can't hurt.
You say we was hot. You still hot.
No, I mean, you know.
Hot.
But I mean, when we first got together as a couple, you know what I'm
Like the
saying?
hottest thing
Yeah,
ever.
we set,
The
you know,
new shit.
yeah, it was a lot of fire. You know, people was mad, they was hating, they was talking they shit. You know, people was congratulating. You just got all these different reactions. But we just kept doing what we was doing. So when we get on there, it was dope because to see other couples, you know what I'm saying, and the love, it was super love when we get there. You know, Ray J showed us so much love. Everybody came to the dressing room to hang out with us. You know, so it was dope. You know, they treated us like fam. They embraced us coming in and shit. But I knew, like, I don't know how long my life in reality TV is gonna be, because my platform is different, and my stand, you know, my square is different, man. You know, I'm not gonna. It's things that I did on that show that I did, you know, because it's me and my wife, but I'm not going for shit. And you know, with reality TV, they try to twist and turn shit, and sometimes you gotta stand on that shit, be like, nah. You know, there's a scene that didn't come out with, you know, London, because they try to give you a lot of drinks. You know what I'm saying? And so we in the room and they come in to film us, but you know, because she has so much to drink, she's crying. And they want to come in and get that footage, and I'm like, y'all not gonna do that to my wife. Get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta put your foot down on certain shit, but if not, they're gonna run over you. You know what I'm saying? But it's a dope experience.
No, that was dope. So you did that, and because I thought you was going to keep going with reality TV. I thought you had something. It don't have to be specifically with your wife. You know what I'm saying? But you know, you looked good on TV, my nigga.
I'm open to it. You know what I'm saying? If it's right, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm never gonna compromise my brand, and I'm never gonna compromise who I am as a man. So if you come to me with the right stuff, yeah, we can make it happen. I'm open.
So what new business ventures Mr. Santana has 2022?
Oh man.
Talk to us, man. We know you smoking that good weed. What you smoking on? What you smoking on right now?
I think this is Ching Lotto right here. Ching Lotto.
We got Mr. Santana
like a mother.
Ching
Lotto.
The price went up. Today's price is not.
Make sure you get that smoke
Yesterday's
champ gumbo.
price.
Yep. I had the gumbo earlier. That was good too.
Space NYC, Space Studios NYC. You heard?
All day.
All right, check this out. So, Ray,
What you got new? What you got new?
what you got for 2022? Ray?
I mean,
He just said we about to do business with the compound. You just
Okay,
heard.
okay, we got that. But I'm
Yeah,
saying,
we got that.
What's
Yeah.
up with Ray? What Ray's working on? What could we get this
You in a
new
new,
gear? You looking mad
reality
nice and
joint.
slim.
What's the name of
God's
it?
gift products. What's up?
yeah.
Came
Yeah.
out 2 weeks ago.
I shot an episode with AJ Johnson.
Okay.
She has a show called Life Fitness, Life Therapy. Excuse me. Life Therapy. So I shot an episode with her. Park in Madison. We just released it, Drafted by God, which is doing really well. And at the top of the year, I got a children's book that's supposed to come out. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to be in a different lane. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. You know? Yeah.
I remember we was talking, you know, off camera. You were saying it's hard, you know, trying to do other things and you know what I'm saying?
It is. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It is because you try, but for me, like, you know, to be the designer, the activist, now the author, some lanes people want me ambassador, but there's some lanes that they won't let me get in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I try to do more luxury items, they don't want to hear that. They want brotherhood, sisterhood, drafted by God. This is what they want from me. So, you know, it's like, all right, we got to just stay in this lane and just work it.
That's
You're
right.
gonna have to remix that shit and put another face on it.
You gonna
That's all.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's true too.
That's right.
Yeah, as long as it's me, then it's like, nah, we want you in this lane because this is where we like you. Definitely.
So when you started smoking, man.
Yeah, because you looking good smoking.
You got a nice picture of that. How long you been
smoking?
When I moved to the A, like, yeah, you know, I dibbled and dabbled, but it was nothing serious. And, you know, my boy, I ain't gonna say his name, he in the building. You know, we used to smoke, you know, smoke out the car back in the days, but, you know, dibble and dabble and shit. And so when I moved to Atlanta, because I was in this house by myself, you know what I'm saying, and I was having fun furnishing the shit and doing, you know, shit, you know, just simple shit. Enjoying life. So then I started smoking.
Let me ask you something, because Gilly said Atlanta got that bullshit weed.
He did say that.
Look.
He's standing on that shit.
My weed come from LA.
Hello. He don't smoke Atlanta.
Yeah,
He's smoking Ching Lotto.
I smoke Ching Lotto.
Smoke Champs Gumbo right now.
Yeah.
Easy. That's a no-brainer.
All day. That's what you smoking. Yeah, so, you know, the weed that I get usually comes from LA, so I don't.
So what's up, man? You love Atlanta a lot, man? Or you still realize you're from New York while you out there?
I can, you know,
how's the weather out there?
Listen, I can never stop being from New York. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you Harlem.
I'm Harlem all day.
But how's that? Like, tell me the vibe in Atlanta, because like you've been out there a couple winters. You know what I'm saying? It's not like our winter.
How long you been living there?
I've been about 5 years now. And it's dope. I love it because for me, coming from prison, right? And then going to Atlanta, it was this peace and quiet.
You went straight to Atlanta when
you
came home?
Nah, I was here for a long time. I was in New York for a long time, and then I moved to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And because I went to go visit, and I saw how much house they giving out, and I was like, this is sweet, right? Because I never owned the house, so this was my opportunity to own the house. And then when I got it, you know, I was in this space that it was just peace and quiet. Like I do like goofy shit, like sit on my deck and smoke a blunt and watch cars, because it was simple shit.
Jail shit we do though.
It's peaceful. I hear the birds chirping. I wake up. I used to call Bing. Be like, yo, Bing, yo, I'm in this house. Like, yeah, just come through, nigga. Just come hang out, because it.
Like, you went to the A Dolo.
Dolo.
Oh, what?
Dolo.
Kids, no girl.
Nah, my daughter was in New York. I brought my
after you sit
after I brought my sister and them down. I brought my sister and them down. They live out there, but I was there by myself for a while, and I was just soaking up the peace and quiet.
I got like 5 sisters down there. They keep telling me come down there.
It's
Everybody,
sweet. It's sweet.
I'm thinking about
you was enjoying the peace and quiet.
I love the egg.
And now it's winter time coming. How's it over there
Nah,
now?
the egg. I mean,
is it real lovely for Christmas?
yeah, it's not. It's nothing like this. Like, you know, it's not. It's minimum snow, and you know, your winter might be 2 weeks. You know, it's sweet. You know,
coats, everybody got coats on.
Not down there. We flip-flop shorts. I mean, that's just me. I used to laugh at Antron because he would walk around with basketball shorts and flip-flops. I'm a New Yorker. I'm like, what you doing, nigga? You got to be ready to scrap. And then now, that's what I do. I'm walking around with flip-flops, driving to the gas station. You know, it's just enjoying the small shit, man.
So you think about, like, you know, doing something in the cannabis industry?
Oh, I'm definitely open to it. You know, right now, me and London, you know, we have a deal with a company called Slapwoods. You know, out in Houston. Shout out Slapwoods. Those are the people. You know, that's the homie. You know what I'm saying? And so London has her own flavor. You know, that's coming. A Slapwood. It's like a roll of paper that you pack it, the weed in.
It's already.
Yeah.
Like a cone type of
it's like a cone. It's like a backwood cone.
Gotcha.
And then we also have backwoods that are flat that you could just roll. And so she has a peach flavor that's coming. You know what I'm saying? So that's lit.
Is that just y'all in collaboration with somebody?
We in collaboration with Slapwoods. So cannabis is definitely something that we interested in.
So I want to ask you this, like, with your case, like, so since it's known, like, these cops, like, bullied y'all, harassed y'all, like, you know, beat y'all up, did all of this shit, forced y'all to sign documents of things y'all didn't do, you know, like, they don't get arrested for that, they don't get investigated, they don't get in trouble for that, it's just left on the table?
Yeah, what happens is that we name all of them as defendants in the civil suit, right? Because when you sue the city, you know, prosecutors have immunity. But in Linda Fairstein and Lederer's case, they were acting as lead investigators. So that's why they get named in the civil suit. You know what I'm saying? But they have the protection, but everybody else we was able to name. But you sue in the city. nothing really nothing doesn't really happen to them.
Yeah, but on
You know what I'm saying?
They just changed that though, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. On the
Yeah,
criminal
you
side,
can do that now.
Not
Yeah, you can do that now.
yeah, but on the criminal side, that's not illegal to.
Nah,
that's
you
not
gotta.
illegal
I mean,
to.
look at it. Police have the right to lie to you. I mean, at the end of the day, the police officer has the authority to kill you. All he has to say is that my life was in danger.
Right.
That's it. He has to justify it. You know what I'm saying? So there's really nothing that they won't do. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing is that during the civil case, we had to do over 100 depositions. So a lot of these police officers, lawyers had to question them. And one police officer, Mike Sheehan, you know, he was under investigation by the feds for stealing, clocking in and going and hanging out at his sister's bar all day. He had several DWIs. There was another Detective Arroyo who was in my case. There was a sting in Washington Heights, and they found this dude dead in the car, and in the trunk was $30,000, and they took it and they split it, right? We had another detective who, when he retired to Florida and caught a conspiracy case as hired muscle for the mob. And so all these dudes was coming and testifying in deposition to say we still guilty.
Foul motherfuckers.
But because it's the feds, we can get all your paperwork, and now we can come back and say, well, explain that. And then they start pleading the fifth. So their whole case just falls apart. You know what I'm saying? And so that was the only justice that we can get, because when your attorney is questioning them during the civil suit, you can sit there and watch. You can sit there and listen. You know what I'm saying? You get a little justice out of that when your attorney grilling them, you know?
So even in the civil suit, like it doesn't like describe like what they did wrong and all of that. Like
the civil suit basically says that we're not guilty, right? That if the evidence they had now back then, it would have been a different outcome, which is what they say about all exonerates.
Yeah.
But then they say, but the police did nothing wrong. So, you know, they try to justify it some way, somehow at the end. They say the police did nothing wrong.
So y'all just got exonerated. Y'all didn't get actual innocence.
Yeah, we got exonerated.
Because shout out Big Un, he just got actual innocence. Big Un is another dude that's been that's Ghostface.
Yeah.
All right, so with Trump, like, did you feel like he was a good president or
horrible president?
Do you feel any different about Biden?
I mean, you know, for me,
did you vote for Biden?
I did vote for Biden because at the end of the day, I had to. Like this, I got beef with the president at this moment. Huh? I was never gonna vote for him. I got like we got beef for life. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's on site. Like you want to kill us, man. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
bread on your head.
Yeah, he put bread on our head. Like
5,000 for
nah. You know what I'm saying? Like
for ad to say. They want the death penalty. That's crazy.
What I'm supposed to do? We see him. What I'm supposed to do? We see him face to face. It's on, twin. That's it. Like ain't nothing to talk about. So you know what's beef? I got beef with the president. I ain't got beef with niggas in the street.
Crazy. That's
you know what I'm saying?
Ex-president.
Yeah, with the ex-president. So for me, you know, the justice that I did get out of that was when him and Biden did have that they had the debate, and then Biden broke us up and pressed him about us. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't say nothing. So you get a little bit of justice at that moment. But I mean, at the end of the day, you know, Biden is responsible for the 1994 crime bill.
Hello.
You know what I'm saying? So he has to. We got to hold him accountable. Also, he got to do something for us. And right now, what is he doing? You know what I'm saying? Don't use COVID as an excuse.
And what's the 1994 crime bill?
Some niggas still in
Which starts mass incarceration. You know what I'm saying? It's telling everybody that we need to lock everybody up.
He went in front of the legislature and said that 5 grams of crack is equal to 500 grams of coke. Who sells crack? Who uses crack? Yeah. That's the start of mass incarceration, because when you look at the history behind it and you look at these towns in upstate New York, they was bankrupt, right? They was on public assistance. They didn't have nothing coming in until a prison came in there. That's why George Pataki gets in office so fast, because he promises more prisons. And he does. He delivered. You know what I'm saying? And this is why those upstate towns flourish so much,
You know what I'm saying? It's modern day slavery if you look at it, because
paying you 25 cents an hour.
Yeah.
Well, that's if your weight is up.
and that's if your weight is up.
12 cents, 14,
Yeah.
16 cents an hour,
Yeah.
a quarter an hour, bro.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
We was in there making
You can't work
45
out here
cents.
for $5, $10, $15.
Yeah.
You out of line, Papito. I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you, that's what Chevy says. I was walking around Ninja since I was 1982. My nigga, and back then
You gotta have your GED.
You get it with $5, get a bag
Yeah,
of
I was in
weed,
industry. I
and-
made
and a
45 cents an hour,
popcorn. I gotta relax. My bad.
and I was balling. You know what I'm saying?
So you say you don't really feel either one of them.
Nah.
You don't think he's
At this
fighters
point,
kinda
nah.
know, yeah.
Nah, because at the end of the day, what has he done?
Now he
What
dropped
is
the rock.
He dropped the rock.
early.
You know what
He
I'm
got
saying?
COVID. He got COVID. He dropped the rock.
Yeah, nah. You know, and same thing for the VP. Like my sisterhood shirt, she was listed on there. That shit won't sell.
Because of that.
I'm like, fuck, let's pull it off. Like, let's change it up now. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, at the end of the day, people gonna hold you accountable. You gotta show us something. We put you in there.
I ain't heard a word from that lady.
So Ray,
Nah.
honestly.
so Ray,
For
let
real.
me ask you a question. Is there any spin-offs or something for a book or for like new series on Netflix or a mini series, or it's over? What?
Nah, it's not over. It's there though.
Okay.
It's just there. It's there. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, for some of the fellas, you know, everybody don't handle the rock the same. You know what I'm saying? Like Antron don't want no parts of this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He want to go somewhere with his family, chill, relax. It's hard to call him and be like, yo, you want to do this? You know what I'm saying? Because the trauma.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's still fucked up behind that shit.
That's real.
Like he's still mad at his pops. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we had conversations. I try to laugh and joke with him all the time, but that trauma is serious. So it's hard to get them. Like we brothers, but we like a group. Like we laugh about that shit sometimes because it's like, how do you get us together? Or you can't. It's hard to get all five.
Oh, we know.
No,
We smoke Chance Five today.
Smoke Chance
We
Five
smoke
today.
Chance Five today, my nigga Yusuf. Kev Webb, you gotta relax, man.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Besides Antron, how the rest of the fellas, you know, how they handling life?
No, I mean, from what I see, they good. You know what I'm saying?
It's not a Raymond Santana story.
Nah.
You're a major figure in the story, but those brothers got a voice too. They got trauma they've been through too. They got pain they dealing with.
That's a
Yeah.
And no dollar amount could fix that shit.
Nah, definitely, 100%. And with the series, when you know, when They See Us came out, like we really thought we knew each other's story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And because when we do the doc, it's us getting our voices back, us getting the platform.
Yeah.
By the time you get to When They See Us, we so comfortable in our skin, in our fight,
Yeah.
like Corey wants to tell everything.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? And so now, when we watch parts 1, 2, and 3, we know 4 is hard because I read the script.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when we get to 4, it's like, all right, let Corey watch it by himself. But Corey like, nah, I want y'all to watch it with me. I need y'all to feel my shit.
Yeah.
And that shit fucked us up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it had me to the
It was
point.
like that for the audience too.
No, definitely,
Word.
definitely.
That's a fact.
Definitely.
I'm
because
fucked up
y'all
on the
parts
first.
that came before that.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, this is shit that I can relate to. Everything here I can relate to. I can understand what they going through. I understand this. I understand that.
Yeah.
But when Corey shit came up, it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and for me, I automatically got into defense mode because this is my dude, right? You know what I'm saying? And so I called A that night. I called Ava that night. And I'm like, yo, like, y'all gotta talk to him. Like, he needs to. This got to be his truth. Like, if he say no, fuck this movie. I'll drop this shit right now. We will all walk away just so that I make sure he good. You know what I'm saying? And she respected that shit. She was like, nah, I'm gonna talk to him. And he told his story, and then they showed him the script. They showed him what was in it, and he was like, yes, tell him my shit. You know what I'm saying? And at that moment, you know, we had to, we gotta respect that shit. Yeah, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
They gotta, let's be clear. They got Grammy for the y'all.
Emmy.
Emmy, y'all.
He got nominated
Got
for
an
12
Emmy, y'all.
We got nominated for 16 Emmys.
16 y'all.
Emmys
Yeah.
and one.
I think 3, 2 or 3.
Come on, man. He got a
Yeah.
couple.
Shout
He got
out.
a couple.
Come
I
on,
ain't got
let's
a
That's real.
Yeah, you know, so yeah. Yeah, so he wanted to tell the story, so it was like, yo, you gotta let him tell it. And as long as he was comfortable in that shit, we was riding with him.
Yeah. And did it come out exactly how y'all wanted it to? Did everybody agree on it?
Yeah. You know, for me, we talked about this earlier. I think we gave him too much truth
Yeah.
because in telling our truth, like a lot of people can't get past episode 3 or episode 2. They can't make it to 4.
That shit is real.
You know what I'm saying?
That's needed.
It is, and we tell people you got to watch it more than once because the first time is gonna be pure emotion. You watch it that second and third time, you're gonna catch them jewels because she's Ava's laying out the whole system right there. You know what I'm saying? From arrest, no interrogation.
The interrogation is the worst part.
You know what
That
I'm
was
saying?
the realest
Then
part.
trial, and then
That was
prison
word.
for us, and then recidivism because I go back to prison. You know what I'm saying? And then Corey Wise, his story because it has to stand on its own because it's that
he was on his own.
he was on his own. It
wasn't like y'all. He was on his own.
He was on his own. He was 16 years old. You know what I'm saying? He was a small kid, and he's on Rikers Island. He's in C-74 in '89. You know what I'm saying? And he is a green light on him.
And I kind of like the Kev Webb story too as well. I
Yeah.
think, you know, because Kev, a lot of people don't know Kev Richardson. He's a little quiet. He's always been to himself too. He's a people's person, but real humbly, like super humbly. I kind of like how he told the story too as well. And I got to bed with him. I was in the same house with him, and I felt his vibe and his energy from his family because I got to visit every visit, and his moms came to see him every visit. His sisters, it was like probably like 5 of them at the time. They all looked like he just had a good vibe. It was a good aura down there. So, like when I got to see his story on, like it makes sense. It was pretty cool because it was crazy. He was telling me the same thing. I ain't know the Yala. I met the Yala, and you know, it was just it's crazy where we at now, man. And I'm happy about the Exonerated 5, man.
How did
they came a long way.
How did you feel like when it came out? Like, did you get a good response from it? Like,
when they
did
see
you get
us?
the response you wanted?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I mean,
stars, man.
no, yeah, I mean,
like, did you feel like I finally got to like really show? Yeah, like did you feel any clarity?
well, you know what, we was getting a lot of that from the doc.
Okay.
And so when they see us come out,
blue checks.
yeah, we did.
Blue checks. The checks got
Yeah,
different.
It became different. It became different because it's like now you're recognized by the world and everybody wants to embrace you. So it's dope, you know what I'm saying, when you around celebrities and you know, they're like Raymond and you're like, oh shit, Tyler Perry. Yeah, this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Tyler Perry know me. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like a lot of celebrities, you know, they start to treat us like family. You know what I'm saying? Like Terry Crews, I see him and he grabs me. I'm like, get your big ass off me, nigga. Like,
remember we seen you
know
in LA, BET Awards.
BET
we
Awards.
driving by and I'm like, yo,
they was going to the
yeah, we went to the awards. Yeah.
So a
Y'all
lot of
pulled
people
up on
don't
us.
know Nori was locked up with y'all too.
Yeah. Capone, they was in Harlem Valley.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we seen you. He was like, yo, that's Ray. Yeah, he was like, yo, that's Ray right there. We pulled over in the middle of the street, stopped traffic.
Stop traffic and all that. Started flicking it up. Everybody looking at us like, who are these
Started taking
niggas?
mad pictures.
That was love though.
That was love.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Yusuf, you know, he has his memoir out. You know, he got his memoir out. Better Not Bitter. You know, we still do a lot of traveling. You know, speaking out universe. Sometimes it's together, sometimes it's separate.
Just you and him?
Well, no, me, him, Kev does a lot of it too. Yeah, Kev does speaking engagement. Corey does it, but Corey moves when he wants to move. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when it comes, it comes. Yeah. But we still, you know, we active. We still active. We have to be. Definitely.
Well, listen, man, I just want you to know one thing, Mr. Raymond Santana. Thank you for pulling up the smoke.
Nah, definitely.
So, if you could smoke with anybody in the world, who would it be?
Damn.
Dead or alive?
Shit.
Come on.
I gotta just say my wife, man.
Your wife?
Yeah, because when we smoke, like, we get into like these real deep conversations. Yeah, and you know, she's tapped in, so she sparks. She, you know, she.
You gotta give us some Chinglado.
No, definitely.
Definitely.
Of course.
One more question. Tell him if
tell us a funny story, like when you getting high. Tell us a funny story or a crazy story. It can be good, bad. We ask all our guests.
All right, funny story. When London smokes, right? When London smokes, sometimes she gets stuck, right? She'll get stuck. Like sometimes you catch her in the closet She's in there folding clothes and shit. She's just stuck.
And London is delicious?
Yeah, it's delicious, right? My wife. And so one day I'm down in the boom boom watching TV, and she come in and she just started barking on me. Yeah. Raymond, where the hell? Where were you? Why you didn't come get me? And I'm like, what happened? What's wrong? And she's screaming at me, right? Yeah. Like I did something. So I'm like, what's the matter? She said, I was stuck in the closet for 45 minutes and you ain't come get me. And I was like, oh, my bad, babe. My bad. I was watching the game. I got to go check on her. Yeah, I go check on her, make sure she good. You know what I'm saying?
You got to relax. You got to smoke some gumbo.
Yeah, nah, we definitely going to get some gumbo.
Really stuck.
Nah, definitely.
You like that chicken?
I'm happy for you guys, man. You look real great out there. I like you keep that marriage concept.
Yeah.
You constantly throw it out there, you know what I mean?
It's work, man. I mean, you know, you have to. It's work, man. You know, I mean, for me, at this stage in my life, you know, I just want to enjoy the blessings. Mm-hmm. So I don't want no drama. I want to be stress-free. I just want to laugh, enjoy life. That was another reason why I smoke.
As you should.
You know what I'm saying? Suffering from PTSD, you know, you want to cope with that shit. Yeah. And so for me, it's just about being happy. Mm-hmm. And so every aspect of my life, it has to be about happiness. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so for me in London, right, because she had a whole different persona, personality, she's in a whole different field than I am. So people looked at it like, that's not going to match. Right, but the vibe and the chemistry that we do have, you know what I'm saying, is the happiness. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And if it isn't, then you work on it because it's worth it.
Mm-hmm. You married.
Yeah, you married, you locked in, so it's worth it. So you know, you try to figure that shit out as best as you can. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Me and we have a saying, like we always tell each other, you know, I'll be like, so you want to leave? Which way you want to go? Or she'll tell me that. Mm-hmm. She be like, choose the window or the stairs. You know what I'm saying? And that's our vibe. Our vibe is the
window or the stairs.
Yeah, I be like the window because we on the second floor. We on the first floor. I'm good. I can just step out. You know what I'm saying? But nah, the vibe. You know, you work on your marriage and it's to create that vibe of being happy, man. Yeah. You know, and you know, I mean, it is what it is.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah. It's rough though, cause you know the wives they'll run it. They'll run it. Happy wife, happy life.
Smoke Champs 5. Let's be clear.
Smoke Champs 5.
Smoke Champs 5, baby. Mr. Raymond Santana, we did it big, man. You know what I'm saying?
Pleasure, man. Definitely. All day, man. You already know, man.
You want to promote anytime? You pull up anytime.
Family, you already know.
Anytime you got something you want to share with the people, this is your house.
Definitely. Appreciate y'all, man. All day, love you too. You know.